You want to make the most out of your DJI Osmo Nano? Let me show you.
I ran it up, then ran it again. Never gonna stop, I'm just taking the win. Whole lot of checks, I ain't using no pen. Whole lot of shine when I step, that's the trend. Diamonds singing like Mariah Carey. I had to hustle, I doubled the count. I used to struggle, but look at me now. Everything built from the mud to the mount. Everything grown on minimum wage. Jumped in that water and learned how to wave. Now I'm too smooth, I'm ahead of the pace. Money keep calling, I'm answering quick. A new move, got them studying this. I don't do talk, I just walk with a drift. Came from the ground, now I'm built like a brick. Whoa, let's do it, you know I'm the shit. I've been thumbing through this page. Got my fingers feeling crampy. I just made another play. That little flip then came in handy. Yeah, dog. That little flip then came in handy. Came from the ground, now I'm built like a brick.
Today, it's all about the DJI Osmo Nano, one of the most versatile cameras I've ever used, and because of that, I absolutely love using it. The thing is, with this camera, you can do so much, but there are a couple of tweaks, a couple of settings that you need to change if you want to extract the most out of this amazing camera. So let me show you. So let's start with resolution, frame rate, and aspect ratio. I always go for the highest resolution possible, which in this case is 4K. As for frame rate, I shoot in 30 frames per second, as 24 and 25 might be a little bit too jittery or stuttery when posted on social media, so I prefer the natural flow of 30 frames per second. That's what most social platforms are adapted for. So 30 frames per second and maybe 60 if you plan to slow down your footage later in post. As for aspect ratio, it really comes down to how you're planning to use that footage, whether you prefer to post it as a horizontal video on YouTube or you want to reframe it, maybe have a horizontal version and also a vertical version for your TikTok and Instagram, for example. So if that's the case, you can use 4/3 aspect ratio. If that's not the case, if you're only looking for horizontal video, choose 16:9. And that opens up another important variable, which is called natural wide field of view. This makes sure that you will have no warped edges around the edge of your footage and still have that consistent wide look to your footage without those warped, distorted lines that everyone dislikes, myself included. So if you want to take advantage of this setting, you need to go into field of view options. Use Rocksteady as your stabilization, that's the built-in stabilization which works wonders on the Osmo Nano, and then choose natural wide. And you will see the difference it makes compared to just regular wide, which still warps the edges a little bit. Keep in mind, this natural wide field of view option is only available if you set your aspect ratio to auto in the camera settings. Otherwise, you won't see that. For the exposure, I tend to shoot in automatic exposure with this camera. That's usually something I never do with my cameras, but for this camera, it actually works wonders because it adapts to the light very quickly. It doesn't flicker or fluctuate between changing different ISO settings and just works really well with most of the automatic camera settings. However, there are still a couple of things we need to mention. So we can tap on exposure and go to the EV value, which I have set to -0.3. This is still using automatic camera settings, but kind of underexposes your footage by 0.3 stops because you want to preserve the highlights, and you can always bring back some details from the midtones and the shadows later in post. And that just works so much better as opposed to regular zero exposure. You might even want to go to -0.7 depending on where you're shooting. If you're shooting in a bright sunny day, that's even better. But since we have had a really bad weather recently and I've shot mostly indoors, I have decided to keep it to -0.3. As for the ISO, I set it to a value between 100 and 800. This is an automatic decision by the camera. So between 100 and 800, it works best because after 800, you tend to get a little bit more noise in your shots, and that's obviously not ideal. For white balance, I either set it to a manual white balance if I'm shooting indoors, where I know what the white balance is, or I set it to auto if I'm shooting outdoors and I'm switching between tons of different angles where I don't have full control over the light, obviously. So the camera adapts itself very, very nicely. So for the most part, auto white balance works really well on this camera. Now, the next important thing we need to talk about is the color. I always use DLOG-M 10-bit. and this allows me to have a lot more control over my image as I can color grade it the way I want. Of course, if you don't want to color grade, you have a lot of different options. You can either use normal color profile, which is still 10-bit and it's a great option, or you have some built-in film tones, which are also incredible on the Osmo Nano. They have been added recently via a firmware update, and they open up the door for a lot of possibilities for those of you who don't want to dive deep into color grading but still want to achieve that film look. That's another fantastic option. Still, I prefer to have the maximum control as I have my own LUTs, I have my own workflow that I want to keep using, and especially if you want to match this camera's footage with another camera, then DLOG-M is kind of like your only option because it's just is so flexible and allows you to have full control over your footage. So DLOG-M is what I would recommend. And then the next very important thing is image adjustment, where you need to dial down the texture. This is basically your sharpness, which is far too much in my opinion if you set it to 0, which is the default option. So set it to -2 and set the noise reduction to -1. Those are settings that work ideally with the Osmo Nano, as you get a lot more natural looking footage that is not over sharpened, over digitalized, and doesn't have too much noise reduction applied to it. So it looks very, very natural and great, and you can still add your sharpness if that's something that you want to do later in post, but you cannot take it away if you have too much of it, which is the case with the default setting. Finally, make sure you swipe from the top and go to the settings and then select bitrate and set that to high. By default, it's set to standard, which lowers the quality of your footage. So make sure you set it to high. So now I want to show you some of the accessories that I've used for this video and something that maybe you can steal from me as an idea if you want to have a little bit more flexibility when shooting with the Osmo Nano. First, and one of the most used accessories is this. Luckily, this comes in the kit with the Osmo Nano. So this is a suction cup mount that is so tiny and also kind of works like a tripod. So you can just set the camera on the ground and it will stay still like this, and you can move it around. But with the suction cup, you can also take advantage of sticking this to many surfaces where the surface is clean and flat. That's how I shot this POV bottle shot, where I was taking my protein shake and I just stuck this to the bottle, and I kind of played with the camera angle so I can have this shot of me drinking from the bottle. So this is something that I use a lot as well in my car, as you can stick this to the window, to the windshield, to the sunroof if you have one, and that opens up the door for so many different shots that you can record with this camera. The suction cup is just great. Another thing that I use a lot is, again, which is something that comes with the kit, is this cap mount, which I mount on the brim of my hat, and then I put it upside down, so the camera stays like this, so it's closer to my eyes, as opposed to like this, where it gets closer to your forehead. So for most natural POV shots, it's actually better to have it here so it's closer to your eyes, and wherever you look, the camera looks as well. Some other accessories that you might find interesting are those right here. So first I have this magic arm. This is just a very traditional magic arm where on one side you put your camera and then on the other side you put the object that you want to film. So for those POV shots, this works great. Finally, something else which I used for one of my shots where I was scrolling on my phone is this. I think it was called a monkey tail, and it definitely looks like one. It's as you can see, it's bendable, and you can just rotate it and twist it and bend it as much as you like. And this is again something like the magic arm, but it's a lot more fluid and customizable in terms of how you want to rotate it. Finally, something that I use a lot as well is this magnetic pendant that comes in the kit as well. This is again something great that you can use for POV shots. If you stick the camera to your chest and you want to have your hands free, you can use this, and Since the camera is magnetic, you have so many options on how to place the camera, where to put it, and which creative angles you want to kind of achieve. So those are the settings for cinematic shooting and the accessories that I use for the DJI Osmo Nano. Like I said, a fantastic little camera that is just super creative and just opens up the world for creative freedom and different ways to tell your story with the shots that you're taking with it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions regarding the Osmo Nano, any questions regarding the accessories. I'll link as many of them below in the description. So hopefully I can help you out with that. Stay safe, have fun, and I'll catch you in the next one. Ciao.
All gas, no brakes, all work, no play.